Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for joining us on today's webinar with us here at Ingram Micro Cloud team and our introduction to one of our latest vendors on our cloud marketplace, the Acronis Backup as a Service. And luckily today with me, we've got Ron from the Acronis Regional Training Manager to take us through the Acronis opportunity and dive a little bit deeper into the Acronis service itself. My name's Craig Boved. I'm the National Manager here for the Cloud Solutions team with Ingram Micro, and we thank you again for joining us. Just to give you a bit of an overview of what we're going to cover over the next kind of 45 minutes or so, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction for those that are joining us for the first time around what this Ingram Micro Cloud ecosystem is, how we get involved as a team here from the Ingram Micro Cloud perspective, give you a little bit of an overview of the cloud marketplace, and then I'm going to hand you across to Ron, and Ron's going to deep dive us into the Acronis service that we've just launched on our marketplace. And then a little bit closer to the end of today, I'm just going to take you through a quick step-through guide on how we actually spin up an Acronis backup on the marketplace and how we manage that through that reseller control panel. And as always, we will hold the questions to the end, so we'll be having a bit of a Q&A. Please feel free to fire through any questions, though, through the chat panel, and we'll be able to address those at the end of today's webinar. But without further ado, I'd just like to introduce you to what we refer to as our ecosystem of cloud. So when we're talking about the cloud services through Ingram Micro, we're really talking about taking a very holistic view of when we're starting to bring these key vendors into the channel and really helping enable our partners take these services, wrap around their own IP, and take those out to market and successfully grow their services portfolio and their cloud services aspect of their business. So for us, it all starts with working with those cloud service providers, and today we're lucky enough to have the Acronis team with us. They're really getting them in and helping them understand where we are with our channel, getting them into things like the marketplace, helping them with the migration of data into these services, getting consolidated billing, obviously supporting those as well, and then working with you, our partners, on how do we wrap these up, build these into your offerings, make yourselves unique in market, and then take those out to your customers. And really, as I said, it's a very holistic end-to-end view, and anywhere along the line, we'd love to be able to join in and chat with you guys and see where we can help along this journey. And so for us here, we take a very global approach to our team. We've got the marketplace now in 17, 18 different regions, particularly here for our partners that helps grow into areas such as New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. Very easy for us to help scale when you're looking after those, even the smaller kind of multinational companies. The marketplace, we actually own from end to end. We do all our own development, all our own support on there as well. So everything is done in-house, which means we can really key things into our channel and make sure that functionality around billing and automation really hones down to our local market here. And obviously our team as well. So here on the ground, we have both external BDMs and account managers to be able to get out and talk with you and with your customers around where these types of solutions fit in, as well as our architecture teams, our solution advisory teams, plugging into our mobility teams, our professional services teams, and the hardware and technology side of things as well. So again, no matter where we kind of jump into this on that conversation, we can really plug you into these services that are available to you through the entire Ingram Micro ecosystem. So when we talk about cloud, for us, it's not always just about the services. It's about looking at how you as a business can take these out to market, and how we can make you operationally more efficient, get consolidated billing, making sure that if you're doing these kind of monthly billing models, that you've got the right reporting, the right finance and administration processes in the back end, so you're not bogged down with admin work. And how do you put it all together from a solutions perspective, a support perspective, a maintenance perspective, how you manage those customers, provisioning, ongoing customer success and adoption and support. So we want to make sure that we're helping you take away the chaos and making sure that you're getting that cash flow coming through, which obviously then enables you to scale more and market more and get more and more services into those customers. So for us, cloud isn't so much a technology change, it's that business change. Looking at ways when you're moving from that more perpetual-based system or project-based go-to-market, how it can help you really tee up on that subscription-based model, on that per user, per month model, wrap around your own IP, move away from just talking about technology and talking about the solutions, getting deeper into those customers, really understanding how you can help them from a technology perspective grow in their own right. But of course, that means more transactions and having to increase more revenue per customer to help expand that. So getting in and having a look at those business processes, having a look at your sales and marketing component as well, and then plugging the services piece into that. It's really about helping you develop your own system that fits in with your own market, with your own customers to really succeed and automate as much as we possibly can. A key part of that, obviously, is our Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace. And for those that haven't already leaped onto the bandwagon and registered yourselves, it is that one-stop marketplace where you can order, provision, manage, bill, and invoice across a range of services, across a range of all your customers. We tee that up by wrapping around our Ignite services, so we provide technical level 1 and 2 support across all the vendors that we have in Marketplace there. Then we start plugging in our solution advisors, our vendor experts, our sales guys, our marketing teams to really help you kind of rev up those engines behind that. And obviously plugging in those key vendors, like Acronis, making sure you're getting in, getting on their education material, getting on their vendor programs as well, getting on those certifications. Again, really gearing up that back end as well. So then in the front end, you can help you grow and maximize your customers, your market there, being able to help you scale very simply by keeping that idea of breadth and trust with those key vendors in the back end. And a key part of that is how we take a multi-layered approach to our marketplace. So at the front end is where we set up new customers, new services, spin up those services in minutes because we're plugging directly into those vendors. But key part is in that control panel where we do that ongoing customer management, the customer subscription, and then if we really want to, you can actually open up down to the end customer level so the end customer can also see their own services, get their own billing from there. You can set up your own service plans that you want to. There's a lot of functionality in the marketplace. There's a lot that you can do in there. It's very powerful. We'd love to be able to show it to you all. But we've only got a couple of minutes today, so we do hold open mic sessions every Monday, and by all means, we'll show our contact details at the end of today. Feel free to drop us a line, reach out. We can tee up a good demo and take you through all those levels and show you those basics. But very powerful platform that we have here. Again, looking at ways, each of those layers, as you can see, just on that top level, the ability to do ordering, customering, invoicing, et cetera in there. And then actually now being able to plug out into things like our cloud store, being able to run what we call our Odin Essentials platform. If you're running PSA platforms such as ConnectWise or Autotask, we have connectors that we can plug from our marketplace directly into those systems as well. Again, if you want more information about that, please do reach out to us. So that's a little, teaser introduction from me. I'd love to hand you over to Ron now, who's going to take us through the Acronis Backup as a Service opportunity. Ron, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Craig. Hi, everybody. So my name is Ron. I'm the Regional Training Manager for Acronis, and I'm here to take everyone through a quick introduction to Acronis Backup Cloud, or otherwise known as Acronis Backup as a Service, whereby a service provider can very easily use this to provide backup services to existing and new customers. So without further ado, I'm going to just push on. And let me just move the slide forward. Oops. All right, here we go. Okay, so let me just talk a little bit about the opportunities that's existing with this shift from perpetual licensing to consuming services. As we all know, we already businesses and organizations today are increasingly having they are already making a lot of use of physical and virtual machines on-premise, but customers are looking at going on to cloud, consuming services in the cloud as well as on mobile devices. And furthermore, business processes are getting digitized. So a very good example would be Marketplace itself, where you do your ordering, you do a lot of the invoicing, all the business processes, it's all digitized, it's all kept in digital format, as well as the use of multiple devices by individuals. So today, pretty much all of us would have more than one device. We would have a computing device like a laptop, all right, and then after that, a mobile device, probably like a handphone, and all this creates, and creates data. So the end idea is that everybody, from big businesses, big and small organizations, and the individuals, is actually creating lots of data, and this leads to a massive growth of data. And another consequence of this is that we are always connected, always on. We want to be always, data has to be always available, services has to be always available, which is why backup and recovery becomes very, very important. Not just for traditional computing devices such as PCs and servers, but increasingly things like VMs, even our mobile devices have to be protected. Which is where we see these massive revenue opportunities whereby, everybody needs backup. So not just backup of traditional devices like on-premise PCs and servers, but as well as VMs in the cloud, as well as mobile devices. So that would be sort of like the first step. Everybody needs backup. So how, and this is a great opportunity, especially in the SMB space, where they want to do backup, but they do not know, they do not have the expertise. They want something simple, which is where Acronis actually comes in. Right, you can actually onboard customers and provide a very simple solution, straightforward, all-in-one solution to protect all their critical systems. And then after that, comes in with everybody needs complete backup. So we support, as we move along, the software is going to support more and more systems, more and more platforms. Right now, as we'll see later, Acronis Backup Cloud supports not just physical and virtual machines on-premise. We do support backing up of Azure and Amazon AWS virtual machines in the cloud, as well as iOS and Android mobile devices. So these are all opportunities where you can go into your customers and say, hey, you are using cloud or you are using on-premises. Do you have backup? Do you have the necessary protections in place? Can I introduce you into a complete solution whereby you can pretty much manage everything from one single place? And then, because this is all about services, this is where providers can actually go in and say, hey, I can layer on additional services, hardware expertise, software expertise, help them to do planning, help them to do things like business continuity and all that. So all these are revenue opportunities where providers can easily leverage on.
And Ron, as we were kind of discussing earlier, I think that that last part there is really, really key around that revenue opportunity. You know, we're always talking about wrapping around your IP, and I think that whole idea of building out that real disaster recovery and backup plan, you know, that planning, recovering, testing is very, very key in that. You know, we're talking about the Acronis Backup as a Service, which forms, you know, the technology part, but building that DR plan, building that continuity and doing the testing, that's a really, really, you know, high margin opportunity in there, and it's something that every single person needs, no matter if they're a one-man band right through to a multi-conglomerate, right? So I think, you know, as we're going through looking at what the functionality is from a service perspective, keeping in mind how we can wrap our services around that and really add our value and IP in there.
Exactly. So this is what it means. It's not just about the technology. It's not just about the platform. It's actually increasingly becoming about what you can actually wrap around, you know, your own unique service that you're going to provide for your customers, which you can charge a high margin for. Right. So next, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the product itself, the Acronis Backup Cloud, as we call it. It's just to give everybody an overview of what it can do, what are the systems that it supports. So on this diagram here, we can see that, you know, it's broken up into a few pieces. So on the left side, you can see disk partitions, files and folders, virtual machines and applications. These are what we can back up. Okay, so mainly physical and virtual machines, this entire machines, whereby we can actually be able to recover individual files or as well as entire machines to bring servers, critical systems back up very quickly. On the right-hand side, you can see three blocks there, Acronis Cloud Storage, service provider storage, and end-user storage. And these are the storages that can be used to store the backup. So it can be on, let's say, Acronis Storage, which is a data center in Australia itself, or it can even be, you know, on the end-user side. So they can actually have a local copy, and then they replicate another copy of the backup to the cloud, so that they have a very easy and simple, you know, off-site solution. And in the middle is what are the key functionalities of Acronis Backup Cloud. It's multi-tier, multi-tenant architecture, which means that every individual provider is free to actually create multiple user accounts, multiple accounts for their customers, and even accounts for downstream resellers if you have them. It is all web-based, so everything goes through the web. There is, and it's a single pane of glass whereby you can control and you can view the accounts and manage and back up to a single user interface. In terms of backup, to sort of make things very easy, we have individual or centralized backup plans to reduce the sort of the administration of backups, whereby you do not need to create individual plans. If you have a bunch of machines that have similar requirements, you can actually just create one plan and apply it to multiple machines. That makes it sort of easier to do administration. There are features such as automated retention, whereby you can actually set the number of backups or how long essentially to keep backups. This is for compliance. So let's say you have a customer that needs to keep their backups for like 6 months or a year or two. That can be easily set up and then automated, which frees the administrator up from, you know, all these very nitty-gritty tasks. In terms of security, everybody's very concerned about security when we are talking about the cloud, and we have something for that as well. Backups can be encrypted, with AES encryption up to 256 bits. And this is something that the end customer can do to have peace of mind and say that, all right, if you have some sensitive data that I'm going to send to the cloud, I can easily just set a password, set up the encryption, and I can be sure that nobody else except for me can access the data that's in the backup. For ease of recovery, we do provide a file recovery by download. So any backup that is made through Acronis Backup Cloud, once it's stored onto the cloud storage, users can very easily just download not just the entire backup, but individual files that's actually in the backup. This makes it very easy and convenient if all is required is just one file from a folder that they have inadvertently deleted or lost. And we also do support recovery to different across different machines using bootable media. So if you look at the bottom block, in terms of broad functionality, we do provide backup, recovery, data protection in terms of being able to protect data inside applications, individual files and folders, and especially migration, where the users is free to actually back up their machines and move it across physical, virtual, as well as cloud. And in terms of the platforms that we support, we do support Windows, Linux, Mac, all the major virtualization platforms such as VMware vSphere, Microsoft Hyper-V, Red Hat, Citrix Xen, Oracle. And for mobility, we do support Apple iOS and Google Android. And this here is a quick look at what exactly can be backed up. So like I mentioned, the major operating systems that's being used by enterprises, Windows, Linux, Mac OS X, virtualization platforms. For applications, we support a wide range of Microsoft applications such as Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Exchange, Active Directory, and even SharePoint, though that's not listed here. And when we talk about supporting applications, what we are really talking about is the ability to have what we like to call granular recovery, which is where you can back up the entire server. Let's say you can back up the entire SQL server and be able to recover individual, say, databases, SQL databases. So in terms of application support, that's what we're talking about. And then, of course, we are able to actually back up Microsoft Azure and Amazon AWS VMs from the cloud and store it locally or store it onto cloud storage. And with that, it also means that you can easily migrate between different cloud providers. Another very interesting part of Acronis Backup Cloud is the ability to back up Office 365, Exchange, and SharePoint. So you will start to encounter customers that's actually leveraging on Office 365. This is where you can go to them and say, hey, even though they're on the cloud, they need to be protected just in case something bad happens, or you want to have the data with you so that you can do reviews or analytics. So what it can do is that can also be backed up as well. And finally, data on Apple iPhones and iPads as well as Android smartphones and tablets can be backed up as well using Acronis Backup Cloud. And all this is what the service can provide, but you can actually charge for individual pieces of it. However way, you can actually structure your businesses around a combination of different parts of what the product can actually do. So this is actually something that's actually very interesting. And then you can sort of set it up as a basic service, and then thereafter, layer on additional capabilities, right? Because our product actually provides a whole range of platforms that you can actually go out and tell your customers that, hey, are you using this and that? Are they backed up?
And I think that's key in there as well. As you're running through, we're talking starting with, say, platforms and then going right down into that mobile device. So it enables you to have that conversation around backup and security, not just from that infrastructure point of view, but as you're saying, right down to the individual mobile handset point of view, which then gets you into, being able to have that conversation about mobile device management, protecting their data while they're out on the go. So again, I think there's a lot of areas where to be able to wrap your own IP and services on top of this Acronis platform is going to be very, very key in market.
Yes, exactly. So this is where you can actually, like what we've been talking about, layer on additional services. And the best part of all is, this can all be charged piecemeal, right? Which basically means more revenue for you. So we're going to take a slightly deeper look at what exactly is the functionality of the service. So we can, in terms of backup, when we say backup and recovery, we are referring to this level backup, okay, most of the time, whereby we back up the entire disk, or in other words, the entire machine, which allows you to easily recover all the data that's actually on a specific machine. Let's say if I have a Windows box, or if I have a Linux VM, I can back it up entirely, and then I can choose to recover just the entire machine or I can also choose to recover just individual pieces of data, like a single file or a single database, and that. And then in terms of application, like I mentioned previously, we do support top Microsoft applications such as SQL and Exchange and SharePoint. And again, in terms of, take a simple example, in terms of let's say Exchange or SQL, we are able to actually back up and recover, provide the ability to recover individual application items. So let's say for Exchange, we are able to give you the ability to recover individual emails. Okay, or if you want mailboxes or the entire server. Okay, and then, of course, there is the most basic, which is file level backup recovery. So sometimes, all the customer may just be interested in, making sure that, certain critical files stays back up on a very regular basis, let's say half an hour every 15 minutes. That's something that's possible, right, and can be easily set up. So for the provider, what can they look forward to? So multi-tier, multi-tenant management, single pane of glass. So one single console to manage all your customers, as well as any downstream resellers that you're going to have. And on top of that, we provide rebranding. So the service allows for rebranding, where you can change the colors, you can add your own logo, you can provide your own links within the service itself. That will redirect back to your own web pages or e-commerce sites to purchase additional services. This is something that is actually built into the software. So you can have your own brand, you can have your own colors and logos, and basically make it your own service offering. And because of the way it's set up, it can be used to provide managed or self-service backup. Managed backup meaning that you can do the backup on behalf of the customer. So some providers will basically be providing managed services such as managed IT or help desk and all that, and they will be able to have access to the systems. And in this case, they can simply say add on, hey, what about you? I also want to also be able to manage backups for you. Or if let's say for other customers, they can say, all right, if you're interested, but you want to do it on your own, it is also possible. All you need to do is create an account for your customers, pass the account over, and that's it. They can do everything on their own, so manage or self-service backup. And they can back up to their own storage. So this is actually very important, whereby we always believe that for backup, it is very important to have, not just one, but two copies of the backup. So this is where backup to end user storage comes in. So a copy of the backup on-premise, and then that copy will be replicated to the cloud to provide additional redundancy just in case the local site has encounters a massive failure. So these are all the things that's possible with the solution. And this is a quick look at sort of the overall infrastructure. So most of the items will be in the cloud. We have all the account and backup management servers and the storage. Those are all residing in the cloud together. And this is actually where the console also resides. So when you log into the service, you're actually logging in to a server that's on the cloud. Right. For local, for the end user side, it is actually very straightforward. All they need to do is just to make sure that they install the correct backup agent. so the correct Acronis Backup Cloud backup agent onto their machines, whether it's physical, virtual, Mac, PC. Yeah. And once that agent is installed, they will be able to pretty much perform backup and recovery for those machines, as well as transfers the backup from local storage to cloud storage in the data center. Okay, and it's all very simple. All you need to look at would be the console. Everything else is fairly straightforward. The only item that is going to be deployed in the end user premises would just be the agent. So it's a very simple and very elegant solution. So lastly, I'm going to take a quick look at the business models that's possible with Acronis Backup Cloud. And these are our main targets. When we come up with this solution, what we are actually hoping to provide is a very easy, simple, and complete backup solution for resellers, for hosters and hosting providers, as well as telecommunications and ISPs, where they can easily just onboard this service to provide, to start providing backup to cloud and an all-in-one backup solution to their customers. So this is mainly targeting at anyone, any provider, whether it be born in the cloud, like what we call, or traditional resellers that would like to start offer professional IT services, or that want to look at retaining customers. And one way of easily doing that is to enlarge services portfolio by adding on managed backup to your overall offering. And the ability to and especially for providers, SMB providers, where they have limited infrastructure to provide their own cloud backup services. This is where Acronis can come in, because we have already set everything up. So it's all ready to go. All you need to do is just to get it from Marketplace, and you can actually start providing the cloud backup service to your customers. So what does this mean? This means rapid time to market, right? And because it's on a pay-per-use business model, you do not have any upfront cost. You only start to pay when customers start to consume, when your customers start to consume the service, right? And you have absolute flexibility to provide different levels of service, from managed backup, full managed backup, with consultancy, with everything thrown in, or or to the lowest level, which is self-service backup, where the customers will do everything on their own. And because everything is transparent and on pay-per-use, you will be able to effectively match, what is going to be your outlay versus what is going to be coming in. And it makes it very easy. Like I mentioned, a single pane of glass. Everything is through a single management console, where you can see all your customers and all the backup. And we also have, and to support you, we do provide 24/7 support in case you have any technical or difficulties, or your customers have any difficulties with product. And the benefit for end user is, instead of dealing with multiple solutions, now they just can have one solution for physical, virtual, cloud, mobile. Everything is all consolidated, which makes it easy to manage. It cuts down a lot of administrative overheads in terms of management, right? And they have the peace of mind that, this is basically being done by a solution that is recognized. We've been in the market for yonks, and that, it is a proven solution. So with this, this is the end of the quick look for Acronis Backup Cloud, and now I would probably hand this over to Craig.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Ron. So what I wanted to do now is just give you a bit of an overview of how we actually spin up an Acronis Backup as a service through the Marketplace, and then take you into the back end on our reseller control panel and show you where we're talking about being able to do that multi-tier and manage those multiple customers all in that one single pane of glass. Now, for those that haven't already signed up to the marketplace, very, very easy to get up and running. All you need to do is come onto the marketplace, insert your existing Ingram Micro account details. We'll then activate your account. We're just going to ask you to confirm your details and whether or not you want to be charged to a credit card or onto a 30-day terms account. But in about 10 minutes, you're already up and running. So all you need to do again is go to the marketplace, use your existing Ingram Micro details, activate your account, and then you have access to all the vendors and all the services within there and set up your backup service in a matter of minutes. So just looking now that we've logged into the marketplace, here we are at the Acronis backup portal. As you can see, we start as pay-as-you-go, or we can then look at doing chunked accounts within there as well. Completely up to you. And in this case, I'm going to go with a 50 gig Acronis backup account for my customer. I'm just going to confirm my order details, run through to the shopping cart, and if I wanted to add another service in here, I can obviously continue shopping. But in this case, I'm going to proceed directly to the checkout, and I am going to select an end customer. I may already have this end customer up and running on Marketplace, but in this case, I'm actually going to set up a brand new customer. And as you can see there, I'm just going to pop in usernames and passwords, enter in their company information, and that's both going to set them up as a user on the Acronis backup service, as well as adding them as a customer underneath your reseller account inside the marketplace and the back-end control panel. Once I've done that, I'm just going to confirm the order. In this case, I'm going to go on to my net 30-day terms account, and I'm going to agree to the Ingram Micro Cloud terms conditions as well as the Acronis terms of service, and I'm going to submit the order. Now that's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to spin up, and the email address that I've popped in those customer details, that's going to receive the order confirmation. And once you receive that order confirmation, you're simply going to log into your reseller control panel. And this reseller control panel, as you can see here, this is where I keep track of all my customers and all my subscriptions within here. And in this case, you can see that I have set up my little test customer here. I'm simply going to click on that right-hand side and log in as the customer. And I'm going to end up in the customer control panel. And as you can see, my Acronis backup as a service has already been spun up. And now I'm going to click on that Manage Backups button. And this is where I'm going to dive now into the actual Acronis backup console management. And this is where I'm going to be able to set up the backup, choose one of those different options that Ron was taking us through. Maybe it's a desktop, maybe it's a virtual machine, etc. in there. But essentially, this is where I'm now going to be able to set up those backups, download the appropriate agent, kick that off, and obviously this is where I'm now going to be able to go in at a later stage and do the test and recalls, etc. within there. So very, very easy to be able to manage multiple customers in there. As you can see, I simply just logged into my reseller control panel. I navigated to the customer that I wanted to dive into, and then I logged into the actual Acronis backup service in there as well. So very, very simple, that single pane of glass to manage multiple customers within there and manage their accounts. And so really, as I said, once you've activated your account on the marketplace, there's no investment. You literally start selling up in minutes. You can then wrap around your services, manage your own pricing, manage your own customers, and really give you that ability to do that quick upsell and cross-sell across those different services through in the marketplace as well. But that's really all we have for you today. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you got a really good overview of the Acronis backup service that's now live in Marketplace, and really start to see where that opportunity is around building that backup as a service, building those DR plans, extending out from servers and desktops right down to the mobility piece. Do keep an eye out. We will be doing much more of a technical deep dive with some of our workshops and upcoming webinars as well. But if you have any questions at this stage, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. More than happy to dive in, talk to you more about Acronis, talk to you more about the cloud services and cloud marketplace here. But thank you very much for joining us, everyone, and good afternoon.